Hey, it's James. Welcome back to the channel. So glad you are here. I wanted to keep this kind of hush hush until I actually did it. But earlier today, it is Sunday, September 29th, I did an actual phone interview with Valentina Hansen. She is the lady that was essentially the security team would not let her in the building at Gateway Church. And so let me clear up something first. I didn't record. There's no recording of this. It was just me, old school interview, got her on the phone on speaker, and I'm just writing as fast as I can. So first thing we wanted to clear up is that she is not a federal agent. She is a federal officer. She was never paid by anybody to investigate Gateway Church. She did mention to her supervisor that this would be a good idea to investigate. I was more interested in, she did share her story about the confrontation with the security team and how South Lake police were even called. But I wanted to focus more on the culture of Gateway Church, what it was like before Robert Morris stepped down. Because I can tell you, after visiting the church, things are starting to change. And I think things are starting to change in the right direction. She shared with me, I said, how did you get involved with Gateway Church? That she had been going to Christmas performances there since 2014. Now, there was a situation that happened with her family, and she felt that her previous church didn't handle it right. I don't want to go into details about that. It was a very sensitive situation, and the pastor there was very, he didn't handle it right. And so she left that church. She was not kicked out of that church. There's a lie being spread about her that she had been kicked out of a previous church, and that's not true. But after October 2021, she decided to become a full member of Gateway Church, even though she had visited their Christmas performances. She did go through the growth path, which is more than just a members class. It's something you have to do if you want to serve. She was an usher. She served as a greeter. And she always went to the South Lake campus, the main campus, which is the one that I visited. So I asked her, I said, what leaders were you engaged with on a regular basis? And she said, Jessica Gray, because like I said, she was an usher, she was a greeter. She helped out with the Pink Impact, which is the women's conference. She helped out with the men's summit. And I said, what were some of the red flags that kind of gave you a hint that something wasn't right? And she said that when Robert Morris would joke about his wife, and I wholeheartedly agree, you don't need to be making jokes about your wife in public. We're called to, in Ephesians 5, that we are supposed to love our wives like Christ loved the church. We're supposed to honor our wives. We're supposed to protect our wives. If I have a problem with my wife, I'm not going to come on this channel and tell you about it. I'm going to talk to her about it in private. So she also felt like his sermon always revolved around him. He was very much egocentric. So a situation came about where a group leader named Maria. I'm telling you, my handwriting is terrible because I was research as fast as I could. I was trying to do it old school investigation as a journalist. And a friend of hers named Caesar came up to her and said, "Hey, why is Maria talking bad about you?" So Valentina confronted this person, and her response was very negative. And of course, they tried to back away from it and were like, "Well, I didn't. Caesar was misinformed," and so Val went to Kendra Hunt, who's on staff there, and Kendra was, and this is a direct quote, that everyone has to take a role in it. And Kendra said she would look into it, but that never happened. Nothing ever came about it. If this lady goes up to Val in the middle of, before the service and is like berating her in the sanctuary, Val doesn't need to be. What was her role in it? She was having somebody harass her in the sanctuary. You deal with the person who's being out of line. After the scandal broke with Robert Morris, it was Kendra that walked up to Val and said, "You're a spy, you're being mean." And from what I'm gathering after, thinking about this interview that I did with her, I don't think Gateway Church was in a position to where they're used to somebody questioning things. You see, and that's where I hope the culture changes, is because they knew something bad had happened. Sorry, my microphone went kaput, so I had to get the spare one out. So I think Gateway knew that something bad had happened, and they were trying to circle the wagons, and they weren't used to people asking questions. Questions are good. Questions are okay. If somebody's asking me about questions or sees something in me that I'm doing that's not healthy and it's not okay, and they're giving me feedback on it, that's a good thing, because that means they want me to succeed. It's so weird, because then later with Valentina, she said that Joseph Tinney and Amy Wesley accused Val as she went out of the sanctuary. They questioned her intentions as far as why she was there. And she said, I'm here to, whether I'm greeting people or ushering, I'm here to serve people. And so she thought everything got cleared up, but then she got a text message from the actual supervisor of the ushers saying that she wasn't no longer volunteering, and a deacon told them she wasn't volunteering. But then she was reinstated and said she was told she could usher, but then she was told that she had to be upstairs and that leadership wanted her upstairs. So she reached out to Josh Tinney and she said, "Look, I'm tired of this retaliatory behavior. I just asked questions about what happened with Robert Morris." And so Amy was supposed to meet with Val, but then that was the Thursday that Bridget and James Morris resigned. And so Lorena said, "Let's meet with an elder, hopefully either Trey or," and I didn't catch the name, J Minor, I think it is. I'm not sure. But they met on August 22nd, and Val decided at the very last minute to bring a friend with her named Catherine. And immediately they got defensive because she had a witness with her. It's like, what's the big deal? If you got two people there and they're asking questions about what's going on, just tell them the truth. What does it matter? Why is this a big deal? The fact that they got defensive is questionable here. But she said that she continued to volunteer. There was no restrictions, and she last volunteered the weekend before CeCe Winans was supposed to preach. And apparently the straw that broke the camel's back was that Val posted something on social media about CeCe Winans before Gateway Church did. And then she gets this weird cryptic text late at night and saying, "You have an email from the elders." And she wrote back and said, "Who is this?" And that person never responded. So the email said that your membership was dismissed. You can no longer be a volunteer. You are, quote unquote, no longer needed. And it was Eddie Miles, who was the main usher, that was there with armed security to tell Valentina that she couldn't even come to church. You know, and then she asked the South Lake police, did they call you about me? And their response was that the church will call preemptively if there is a situation that requires our assistance. Valentina's 5'8", weighs 125 pounds, and isn't a physical threat to anybody. So why is this important? And I do thank you, Valentina, for doing the interview with me. Why is this important? Because if Gateway Church really wants to change, they have to change how they deal with people who ask questions. Be upfront. Be honest. Be transparent. Don't act like you have something to hide. That's the only way this is going to change. Because if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, Gateway Church is going to shrink. And people are going to be like, I can't trust that person because they're hiding something. Now, what I saw, if you watched, when I later I'm going to post the video of my response to Max Lucado's sermon. I was there in person. The fact that Max Lucado said point blank, God doesn't need your tithe. That's a shift from what Robert Morris taught. The fact that they said, there was one song in particular they sang where they said, I don't need your blessings, I just want you. That's a huge shift. And if this is the direction they're moving in, good, keep doing it. Because Gateway Church should be a place where people come to worship God, not to fixate on one specific human being. So I'm cautiously optimistic that things are going to change. And I appreciate Valentina because she's continuing to minister to women who have been hurt in the past by churches. So Valentina is a lot like Cindy Clemishire, that she is sharing her story with the intent that she wants to help people. And I just want to publicly thank her for her time. She also gave me, we talked about some other things privately off the record. And I appreciate her insight into this matter. So anyway, I know we went a little long, but there was a lot of stuff that, quite frankly, my hands could not keep up. But I was sitting there trying to write as fast as I could. So if you are new, please hit like and subscribe. I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.